without wasting much time, I will invite Irene to mount the podium. So Irene will use 5 minutes to tell us who she is and what she's bringing on board before we can start the questions. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming. As he has introduced me, my name is Irene. I serve as the current BU Council representative, and I am seeking re-election for another term. As you can see, the competition is very fierce this year for my position. So a little bit about myself. Outside of my role as the BU Council representative, I have been involved with the Speaking Center for the past 2 years. Right now, I am a program assistant, but I have worked as an intern, a senior consultant, and program assistant now for about a year or so. Previous to this, I was part of the Binghamton speech and debate team. I was a competitive debate member as well as the treasurer for 2 years. And other than all this, I was also part of the Undergraduate Student Association, previously served as a congressional rep, as well as the director of community relations in the SA President's Cabinet, as well as previous parliamentarian. So that's kind of a bit about myself. Now, even though I'm very lucky to be running unopposed this year, I still kind of want to talk about what I've done as my term as BU Council Rep and what I want to do maybe coming into next year. So some things I've done is one, start a Student Veterans of America chapter in Binghamton. So one of my committee members, his name is Chuck. He's a very devoted member of the veteran community, and he came to me one day and was like, Irene, I wish that there was a community for student veterans on campus. I was like, dope. Okay, so let's do something. And so together we are working towards charting a Student Veterans of America. We currently have a temporary e-board, just going through the GSO process of getting that chartered. So that's number one. The second thing I've done is, I don't know if any of you heard, the International Immersion Program. Essentially, I launched this program after a lot of conversations with a lot of international students on this campus of feeling very lack of peer connection or lack of community, which then leads to a lot of feelings of isolation as well as wanting to transfer out of the university. So to combat this, we have created a one-day program. I've been able to crowdfund around 10K for this program, hoping to launch it August 22nd of last year. So mark that on your calendar. And essentially a way for international students, both undergraduate and graduate, to be able to have a place to find community, to find peer connection that will last them not only through their time in Binghamton, but beyond that as well. I don't remember what number I was on, but the third thing is, thank you, Amanda. The third thing is advocating for dining on campus. I'm sure we have all heard of the new dining contract provider. So throughout these meetings, I, as the representative for both undergraduate and graduate students, have advocated student needs, whether that is more kosher halal food, vegetarian, more just diverse food in general, both in needs and also just culturally, because we do live in a very culturally diverse campus. So my work through that has also contributed to the change of the new contractor, as well as communication, which me and my committee members have been able to meet with around 30 organizations across campus. And we are doing these meetings monthly. That is to make sure that basically what I represent to the administration is accurate of the needs of the students and not what I imagine the needs of the students to be. So that's kind of what I've done for the past year as BU Council representative. Now moving into the new year, I also have a couple of things in mind. One is to continue in that communication and transparency, bridging that gap between the students as well as the administration on campus. Second of all, I want to bridge the gap between the university and the local community. So for my role this year, I've kind of seen a lot of opportunities come within the Binghamton or Broome local area community that is not as well represented to our students. So what that looks like is internship opportunities, post-job employment opportunities within local businesses in Binghamton. So I kind of want to bring that all in and bring that as an opportunity for the students to be able to take advantage of as you are in Binghamton University. That's the second thing. The third thing is something I'm currently working on right now, but from what I'm projecting, it's gonna probably end up into probably somewhere next year, is a mentorship program. So what this mentorship program looks like is mainly for undergraduate students, especially incoming freshmen, as well as sophomore/transfer students who have difficulty finding community or, friends on campus, and we are going to be able to match them up with our upperclassmen essentially. And this is a great way not only for underclassmen to be able to find community and friends, but also for these upperclassmen to be able to recruit for maybe their organization or a club that they want to newly found or join. So thank you for having me today.
Irene, thank you so much for the long introduction. So once you are talking, you can always look at your back to check the time. You have 2 minutes to respond to questions. So once you are talking, please kindly turn your back and then check the minutes. So my first question is on advocacy. Advocacy with administrators. The University Council student representative is expected to meet regularly with university administrators. How will you prepare for these meetings to ensure that student concerns are clearly communicated and taken seriously?
Thank you. And actually, great question. An example that comes on the top of my mind was this new organization that recently came on campus. It's the Climate Action Collective. They essentially reached out to me about the new AI Research Center and expressed their concerns about the ethical use of AI within the university and SUNY in general. And they came to me with a plan that essentially the idea was some sort of student faculty oversight committee on the ethics of AI research being done in the center. And they wanted me to propose that or advocate for them in front of the administration. So then what I did was in my meetings with President Ann, which I have monthly meetings with her, is I proposed this idea with her as well as to the members of the council, BU council, and express to them, hey, a student came up to me with this idea. What are some of the next steps that we can do to bring this, initiative forward? Or if this is something that's not tangible 100%, what are some ways that we can maybe meet the student halfway? So through that, we're also kind of working with some members of the SA to push this through, the SA Congress, as well as the SAE board. And later on, we do have a plan to meet with administration altogether to bring this proposal up to them. And so, there's, I can't always 100% guarantee that a student will always get what they expect from the administration. But what I can promise them is that I will always do my best to at least meet them halfway or do what I can to at least guide them in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. My next question is identification of student priorities. What methods will you use to identify the most pressing concerns of undergraduate and graduate students before bringing them to the University Council?
All right. So I think this is kind of answered throughout my role as BU Council Rep this year, especially with meeting with organizations. My priority has always been that the BU Council Representative role is a role that is there to support students, and it's kind of irrelevant at the end of the day what I personally think or what my personal ideals are. It is about what the students need. So I've had a lot of initiative through these meetings with student organizations where they tell me, Irene, wow, this is like such a boring initiative. You should never do this. And I'm like, okay, then I worked, essentially. So I guess in that way, I always try to get student feedback and align myself and my priorities to what the students and the student leaders are telling me are in needs of the students. And also kind of following up on that, for the mentorship program I'm currently working on, I have a survey sent via the essay line just last week, as well as now posted on my Instagram, so that I can get feedback from the general student body overall of how they want to see this student mentorship turn out in the future, so that it's just not me and my 6-person committee making the final decisions for everyone.
Thank you. My next question is accountability to students. This position requires reporting to both the SA Congress and the GSO Senate. How will you ensure transparency and accountability in reporting your activities and outcomes to the student body?
So, like he said, one of the things I have to do is attend SA Congress meetings as well as GSO Senate meetings. And in those meetings, I give my reports of what I've done and currently what's going on with the university. Some ways that I try to hold myself accountable is through my committee. So, for example, the way that I have structured my committee is that every single person on the committee has the same speaking rights as I do. And every single initiative that we work on, we vote on it. And my vote does not matter more than anyone else on the committee's vote. So if there was something that I have done as BU Council representative, it is with the assurance of every single person's vote on my committee. And so that in that way, I can also make sure that what I'm doing is within what the students need. And I hold myself and my committee holds me accountable for what I'm doing. And I'm very grateful for my committee, and because in a way that we have formed a kind of very close bond with each other where they're very comfortable telling me with what is going on with the university, what is something maybe they want me to make a statement on, or what is something that I should have done better or not have done so well. So I'm very open to those type of feedback, and I'm always happy to change the way that I advocate for students based on what you guys need.
Thank you. My next question is balancing diverse student interest. Binghamton University has a diverse student population with different needs and priorities. How will you balance competing interests when advocating for students at the University Council?
Sure. So I think that even though a lot of students might have different beliefs, but that's in part what makes this campus unique and what makes this campus great, is that everybody has differing opinions. And so to respond to that question, the way I do that is making sure that the clubs and the organizations I'm meeting with represent all areas of campus, whether that be political, social, multicultural. I'm making sure I'm kind of hitting all of those marks so that everybody I'm getting feedback from represents an area of the community.
My next question is on policy influence and impact. University Council discussions often involve policies that affect academic life, campus services, and student welfare. Can you describe how you will influence policy discussions to better reflect students' perspectives?
So, in council meetings, even though we don't directly discuss policy, what we do is talk a lot about policies or updates that will affect the university in the future. So an example of that is the strategic steering committee, which is basically the university's plan for the next 10 years of how we plan to advance and develop. And so sitting in that committee, I'm making sure I'm one of the only students in that committee. So I'm always making sure that even though I'm sitting around 30 adults, real adults, I'll say, my voice is always heard. So I will raise my hand at every chance that I get to talk, or whenever they ask the question, to make sure that even where the student body is represented, we are actually represented through the voices.
Thank you. My next question is collaboration with student leadership. The role requires maintaining strong relationship with the SA president, the GSO president, and other e-board members. What strategies will you use to maintain productive collaboration among these groups?
Okay, so I'm actually good friends with the current SA president, but for next year, what I plan to do is create monthly meetings with the SA president as well as the GSO president, so we can facilitate monthly feedback amongst each other, and we can kind of give each other updates on what is going on, and if there's anything specific that maybe we want to collaborate with each other on, and maybe we want GSO to promote this thing, or we want SA to promote this thing, so that we're kind of all functioning together as one body, because at the end of the day, we all represent one body, and that is the students.
Thank you. My next question is responding to students' concerns across the Binghamton University campus. Imagine a situation where students raise concerns about a university policy, but administrators are hesitant to make changes to that policy. How will you handle this situation while maintaining constructive dialogue with both sides?
Okay. Thank you. So a good example of this is the international immersion program that I worked to develop. Is in the beginning, a lot of the departments I've met on campus was not at all happy. I wouldn't say they're not happy, but they weren't very receptive to this program. And it took a lot of kind of going back to the drawing board. The whole process of developing this program took around 7 to 8 months in total, including getting the funding and going to a bunch of these different departments. And that looked different for every single department I went into. So when I went into DEI with this proposal, they told me, hey, this is something we don't like. Can you change this? I'll say, okay, I'll change that. I'll go back to DEI with the same proposal. And I tell them, is this something that you're okay with moving on with? Same thing with when I worked with the Alumni Center, the foundation. I'm consistently kind of changing the way that the proposals go, or the program changes, so that both the administration and the student body is happy with the end goal with the program. And to be very honest, it was not easy. It took a lot of convincing, and definitely a lot of late night hours of reconstructing the proposal and things like that. So,
thank you. My next question is initiating student-focused projects. One responsibility of this role is to undertake projects that benefit students. What is one initiative you would like to introduce during your tenure, and how will you implement it?
Yeah, so I have 3. I would say one I just talked about, the International Immersion Program. This is something I'm hoping to do every single year, even if I'm not in this position anymore. As well as after this program develops, I hope to do something similar of that sort in the spring semester for transfer students to come in. Second off is the mentorship program I've talked about, that is working to build a community for undergraduate students. And we're actually thinking of hopefully adding a sector where we can have undergraduate students be able to be matched with a graduate student, so that if, for example, an undergraduate student wants to get into a certain 4+1 or a department on campus, or wants to do a specific area of research, and the graduate students have experience in that field of research, so that they can be able to help each other and mentor each other on that sort. And the third thing I talked about is the campus to community opportunities. So making sure that we are bridging all those opportunities to one area, and better advertising it and better marketing it to the students, so that they have more opportunities post-graduation, or their academic journey here in Binghamton is more better.
My last question. Measuring success in the role. At the end of your term or your tenure, how will you evaluate whether you have been effective university council student representative?
I think it would be whether or not I've made an impact on student lives, and as well as just overall on the campus community. I think that it is very difficult to say oh, Irene, you're going to change someone's life. But what I can say is, even if I change one student's life a little bit better, I think that to me is success of being BU Council representative.
Okay, so the floor is open for the participant online and then those in person. So if you want to ask a question, raise up your hand. All right, we have 2, 3. Okay, I'll come to you.
Are you sure you wanted me to be first?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, my name is Victoria. I'm a PhD student in the Political Science Department. I represent political science, Oasis, and also Grad Student Employees Union. So, I understand that since you run unopposed, it's kind of formality. But 2 questions. Not questions, but kind of. First of all, I'm a little bit unclear. So you mentioned that you have a committee, right? That helps you out. How do you choose the people who are like this community composed of like what kind of people? Because I understand that we have around 14,000 students who are undergrad students and around 4,000 who are grad students. And I think out of this 400, I think based on my numbers, around 1,000 are PhD students and the rest are masters, including 4+1 program. So from the stuff that you have did in this console, thank you. But it looks like you focus a lot on undergrad population, which makes sense given the numbers. But moving forward, I think focusing on grad students, specifically PhD students, since they're here for like 5 years, maybe more, it depends. I guess kind of making a little bit more sense in a way, and also for undergrads because they're here for 4 years. So yeah, I just kind of like were asking you how do you think you can kind of focus a little bit more in your upcoming term on grad students? What's the plan? And I think it should be some sort of plan for that. And the second one, what's the like committee? How's it? What's the composition? Thank you.
How much time, please?
We have 10 minutes.
For each of these questions?
No, for the entire question.
No, for each of these questions, how much time should I?
1 minute, 1.
Thank you. Okay, I'll get to
That.
that.
But thank you for that question and great question. So when I made my committee, I made sure that it is representative of the student body. Obviously, I cannot have 19,000 people on my committee. I just can't do that. But I have currently 4 undergraduate students and 4 graduate students on my committee. If I'm remembering correctly, I have 2 sophomores, 1 junior, 1 senior. In the undergraduate section, we have 2 master's students and 2 PhD students in the graduate students of my committee. So that's how I move forward in continuing that. And that's how I kind of also want to form my committee for this year. In terms of the programs or initiatives for graduate students, very happy to do more for graduate students. I think that the international immersion program was from a lot of conversations with international students who are graduate students, because there is a lot of graduate students at Binghamton who are international students. But I'm happy moving on to, if you want to talk later about any initiatives that.
I'll come to you. Demi.
All right. Thank you very much, Irene. I think she already asked part of my question. And I remember last year I was asking you how you would involve graduate students. So thank you for asking that question. Do not let us behind. Well, I think you answered that. But I have a question. When you were answering a question related to accountability, you said on the committee, you guys have equal voting rights. I want to deviate a little bit, right? You were elected to represent the student, right? Having equal voting right, do you think that's the proper thing to do? Because you sold an idea to the student, not your committee. Don't you think you should still have like a little bit of power, you know, when it comes to decision making? That's the first question. Then the second one, when he asked a question about concerns, like, I think conflicts when students have concerns and the university is not really answering. And you gave an example of the international immersion program. And you said, oh, you guys went back and forth. You were changing some wordings in the program and all of that. Now, I'm like, can you see how that also creates like a conflict of interest? Because the students are raising concerns, and you're going to the school, the department in the school, and you're like, oh, we don't like this language. Can you change it? What if those languages you're changing are things that the student actually want, and they're like, do you see how that raises?
One minute.
The second question first, so I can remember what your first question was. But to your second question, to your first question, because I just remembered. Yes, I think it is the right thing to do, because even though I was elected to be in this position, I still chair these meetings, but I believe that all students should have a voice in my committee, and no student's voice should be lesser than someone else's. And again, like I said, because everyone in my committee has equal voting rights, that means the majority vote wins. That means that it will still, or whatever outcome that we end up doing will be still in the favor of what we think the students need most. Sorry, I know time left, but to your second question, regarding the international immersion program, if it was something that students came to me and told me that this language is something they 100% needed, then that's something I would not be willing to budge on with the administration. But when it came to this program in specific, something is better than nothing, and we believe that this is the first step into creating something greater and bigger for the rest of the Binghamton years.
Thank you. Samiksha, you want it? Okay. You'll be the last person, please.
Hi, thank you for sharing everything so far in the work that you've already done. My question is sort of about structural sustainability. So you talked a lot about all these new programs and initiatives that you've been working on. And so I'm curious how you have built scaffolding into these things to continue on even after you've graduated, or you may not be elected in future years. Like, what has been built into these to make them sustainable and continue working and thriving, to your point about wanting to make an impact?
Thank you, Madam JH.
Thank you. Great question. I think that one, even though I'm running unopposed, I can't guarantee the no confidence vote overrides mine. So in that case, I would say that working with different student bodies. So for example, I'm hoping future down the semester, I can read some sort of resolution to present to the Student Association Congress, where the BU Council representative is required as part of their role to take over this international immersion program. But I'm hoping, because I am here for another year, that I can solidify this something into not a student-run initiative, but a university-wide initiative. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with the mentorship program, as well as the international student immersion program, is to make sure that they are something part of the university. So what that means is, what I'm currently doing is working with the graduate school as well as ISSS to have something like this on their website, and have someone take over that is an administration that can take over these programs.
Our last question, then we can take some break.
Hi, Irene. I was wondering what your favorite or most impactful initiative that you've done this year is, and how you saw that impact in the students.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that my most impactful would probably be this international immersion program. Not only because it's something that I've spent so much time on, but also something that came from conversations with these students directly. And although, because the program hasn't 100% launched yet, I think just hearing feedback from other students about this program has made the job in general very fulfilling for me. And just hearing that, like, hey, this is something that I would have wanted when I was a freshman, or when I was coming to Binghamton University, or hey, this is something I would want for a friend of mine who might be coming to Binghamton University. And we think it'll be really helpful for them. So those comments have made the job very impactful.
All right. Yeah, we are not yet done. Im, do we have questions online? Those online. Okay, so those online, if you have a question, kindly raise up your hand and then unmute your mic and talk. I'm sure we don't have any question. Please, let's give it to Irene. She has done well. Thank you, Irene. Let's take 8 minutes. So we come back at 7:50 to continue with the VPMA candidates. There are two. Thank you. We have pizza over there, so please grab some. Hello, hello, hello. Please, it's time. Let me take the opportunity to now invite the VPMA candidate to step out here. Hello, hello. Please, let's sit down, and then we can finish on time, and then we leave here, please. All right. So the protocol is that you are using 5 minutes to tell us who you are, and then from there we will now start the questioning part of it. So, Ima, are you ready? 5 minutes. All right. So 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Mariam Rizk. I'm a 4+1 industrial engineering student. Aside from my academics, I'm very involved on campus. I've been involved in the Dickinson Town Council, which is the most active community government on campus. I ran as vice president of multicultural affairs actually 3 years ago, and I've been elected 2 times after that. This is my last year serving as VPMA of DTC, and it's my most favorite club on campus because I get to see the actual impact on a weekly basis with my community. I am very active in it. I know well over 100 people in the last 3 years. I've been on the executive board, and with my committee, my multicultural committee that I formed every single year, I get to hear more voices and come up with more event ideas. For example, what I've done for the past 3 years is that every month has a ethnic or heritage that it's dedicated to, and I've dedicated an event every single month, even more so since I started 3 years ago, so that everyone in the community is represented. But aside from that, I'm also involved in smaller organizations. I am president of the Spanish Club, which is a more smaller club on campus. But because it's so small, we get to know all the members personally, and hear what they want to do, and provide that. For example, a lot of the members in the Spanish Club actually are learning Spanish and don't know it that well. So we do coffee chats with them, provide food and a nice evening for them, and they get to learn Spanish and practice with other people who do not know Spanish like them. We also pair them up with people who are more fluent in Spanish, so they get to correct their mistakes and learn more about the grammar, and basically fine-tune their Spanish. Aside from that, I'm also vice president of the Association for Women in Math. I love that club so much because it represents such an underrepresented group, and who face hardships in STEM. So with all of these clubs involved on campus, I get to see different various levels of them. With DTC, it is a very big club with lots of funding, while Spanish Club and AWM don't get that as powerful of funding as DTC does. And I'm constantly advocating for them. And as GSO's VPMA, hopefully next year, I want to provide more funding to sub-organizations, so that they have the power to do the events that they want to do and the outreach that they want to do. I also want to heighten the communication between the sub-organizations and GSO, as well as communicate with the SA's VPMA and GSO to strengthen that communication and reach out to students and see what they want to see change on campus. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next person.
Hello everyone. This is Anil Kumar Goke. I'm from India. Today I'm honored to be here as a candidate for Vice President for Multicultural Affairs. So as I came from India as an international student, stepping into a new country, it is not just stepping into a new country, a new culture, new academic structures, and new connections. It is not that easy to build many connections here. So what I feel is like here, the multiculturals plays major role in building the connections. So what I feel is like back in India, while I was studying my undergrads, so like I used to arrange some multicultural events in my college events. Basically, I have arranged 3 or 4 events for some big events like for multicultural activities, and not even here also I have like gathered a few of my friends for some festivals near my house. So like I was much interested in participating or organizing in multicultural events. What I have observed here is like since I came here, it is almost 6 to 7 months, but I haven't seen a lot of multicultural activities, which leads to a lack of networking. So what I wanted to do is like to arrange a lot of multicultural activities, which is not only just like a time pass. It need to be made a matter for everyone, because as a graduate student, I don't have time to participate for every multicultural activities just for fun. Wherever as a graduate student, I will only go to the those type of events when I get some sort of networking events, or like if I gain some knowledge. So I wanted to arrange such type of events, as well as I wanted to connect with many students from different cultures, and I wanted to gather all of them together, and I wanted to plan some sort of big events. So this is what my plan, and also I wanted I wanted to be everything as a transparency, and I wanted to listen each and every person's voice, and I wanted to take everything into an action. Now, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So now we know the candidates for VPMA. Let's now fire them with all the necessary questions so that they will be able to respond to them appropriately. So my first question is on strengthening the socio-cultural and multicultural committees or groups. So the VPMA organizes and coordinates these groups. How will you strengthen this forum so that it becomes an active space for dialogue and collaboration among multicultural student organizations?
From my experience, I know that reaching out does a lot, and communication is the most important way to get something going. So I will actively reach out to different organizations across the campus to set up meetings for dialogue, as well as see if they would like to join my SCMA, the assembly. And with that, we give each other deadlines for different activities to be done. I know that if there's a deadline, it will get done. And if we just keep saying, this will get done eventually, and this will get done eventually, it won't get done. So I will give myself deadlines for different events to be done and different activities to be done.
What I will do is like, as soon as I become VPMA, I will like I'll give a fixed hours to the students. Like they can meet me in person, and they can share their thoughts with me, and I will analyze with them, and I will like try to understand all those things, and I will try to take forward, and I will try to implement them, and also like for every events, I will try to. Yeah. So like not only big communities, I will like go through that each and everyone should be get represented here, right? So I will like try to contact each and everyone, and I will try to represent each and everyone, and not only listening, I will try to take everything into an action.
Okay. So my next question is coming to you, addressing equity in the graduate school. The role requires working with the Multicultural Resources Center to oversee fair and just practices. What specific steps will you take to identify and address inequities affecting graduate students?
So, like to address equities, like I will try to arrange proper regular meetings with my Senate members. Like I think we will have monthly meetings with my Senate members. I will try to attend them, and I will like grasp as much as knowledge with them, and I will try to forward all those points to the students and the board members.
Oh, it's okay. The first step into taking an initiative is identifying the problem. I would want to set up meetings with the MRC as well as student organizations and students in general on campus to find out what problems they have and what they want to address and what they want to see change on campus. And with that, we could form future meetings to and brainstorm ideas to change that. And with that, things could get rolling and, of course, change.
Thank you. My next question is representation of diverse identities on campus. Graduate students represent many identities across race, gender, culture, religion, ability, and socioeconomic background. How will you ensure that these diverse voices are meaningful, represented in GSO activities and university discussions?
I would say definitely collaboration. I could only identify as myself and my identity and my gender. So reaching out to other organizations and seeing their perspective and what they want to do, I could only boost them up and definitely collaborate with them and hear their voices.
Yeah, here Binghamton is we have a lot of cultures here, so we need to represent each and every culture. Either it may be small group of people, or it may be the large group of people. So for that, we need to take actions, and we need to discuss all these cultures regularly in the meetings. And also we need to communicate with the different different types of peoples from the different cultures, and so that we will get to know what are the thoughts and insights about their cultures, and then from there we can implement their thoughts. From there we can take those points and we can point to the organizations.
Thank you. My next question is collaboration with campus organizations. This role requires collaboration with organizations across the university. Which campus offices or students group will you prioritize working with and why? The question is on collaboration with campus organizations. The rules requires collaboration with organizations across the university. Which campus offices or students groups will you prioritize working with as VPMA and why?
As a VPMA, collaboration is very important, and personally what I feel is that not only single school, I wanted to reach out every schools and every organization which was present in all the schools. I wanted to collaborate with them, and I wanted to talk with them, and I wanted to take their insights. Especially, for example, let's say here we have GSO, it is an computer science organizations. So from there I wanted to meet them, and I wanted to talk with them, to take their insights, what is going on, and what we can do for the culturals. Let's say AI is not only useful for only computer science students, it is useful for, it is everywhere. So I would like to such type of things I will take from the organizations, and I will try to implement everywhere in every college, and I will try to do some cultural activities based upon those things.
I would personally prioritize the underrepresented clubs on campus, the ones that don't have a lot of funding. I know from experience of being on both very large club e-boards and very small club e-boards, how funding can limit the opportunities a club can get. And uplifting those clubs would give them more members and more they would have more visibility on campus. So they would have higher funding and on the same level as the higher clubs on campus. So I would definitely prioritize the ones that don't get a lot of collaborations.
All right. My next question is on graduate and undergraduate collaboration. The VPMA is expected to collaborate with undergraduate vice president for multicultural affairs. What joint initiatives will you propose to improve inclusion across both undergrad and graduate communities?
I would personally meet with next year's VPMA. I know that they host a monthly extravaganza and events. So I would try to collaborate with at least one of those, and bring in our graduate students and promote both organizations. The more, the merrier. And I know that communication is key. So I would definitely reach out to them at the beginning of the semester of the fall and see if they would like to set up meetings.
Yeah, for this, definitely I will meet the VPMA for undergrad, and I will and also I will try to implement some cross program mentorship so that undergrad students and where undergrad students and graduate students come together and meet together and take their insights. Whereas in these, undergrad students can increase their networking and they can know more about the for their future, what is going, and the seniors can mentor their undergrad students. And also after collaborating with after talking with VPMA, I would like to be bridge. I would like to act as a bridge in between graduate students and graduate students for multicultures and VPMA for undergrad.
Thank you. My next question is on promoting multicultural understanding on campus. What strategies will you use to promote multiracial and multicultural understanding within the academic and social life of the students on campus?
For this, initially what I will do is by sending some mails, cold mails, and also by sharing some templates, posters everywhere in the walkways and all those places, so that everyone will get to know about their different cultures. And not only these, I will try to arrange few cultural events where everyone will participate and know about their each about the different cultures. So this is where I can.
An idea I have is a VPMA newsletter that goes out either monthly or bi-monthly, dedicated to whatever ethnic or racial group the month is dedicated to. So for example, September is dedicated to Hispanic Heritage Month. So I would the VPMA would send out a newsletter at the beginning of the month dedicated to that and promoting different Hispanic clubs on campus and different events that are going on with both the GSO and different clubs on campus that are representing that group for that month. And
all right, my next question is on handling sensitive equity issues on campus. The position involved consulting on issues related to affirmative action and fairness. How will you approach sensitive cases involving discrimination or exclusion within the graduate community?
I think shutting down any discourse is not the right way to do it. As VPMA, you would only represent, or you would have your own personal beliefs, but that's not the belief that should be representing all graduate students. So hearing different sides of every issue is definitely important, and hearing them out and seeing if there could be a middle ground and forming that middle ground is definitely important. I think bringing harmful language is it's going to create more discourse and a bigger bridge between any side. So going about this in a very peaceful way is the best way to do this.
Yeah, while acting on a sensitive matters, we need to be more careful than others, because it does not it is not based upon our opinion. By listening some sensitive matters, we need to communicate with other peoples as well, and we need to understand the concern, like at what extent this gonna be effect, and what kind of changes we can bring by doing these type of sensitive matters. So like whenever for handling the sensitive things, like I would like to arrange proper meetings with the Senate members, and I would like to take the decisions on those things instead of taking my personal opinions.
All right. So my next question is on events and community building. As a member of the event committee, VPMA, how will you ensure that graduate student events reflect the diversity of the campus community and encourage participation from different cultural groups?
As I mentioned earlier, like I would like to give some proper fixed timings for them, like to meet the students. So like to other students, fellow students, so they will come with me, and by taking their inputs, by arranging proper plan, I will try to arrange cultural events such that where every culture is gonna involve in that, and where everyone feel represented and pointed.
For events, I would like to work with the assembly on creating them, and I would definitely collab with every event. I would definitely like to collab with different organizations on campus and bring their members to us, as well as bring our members to them. And I would promote each event as like anyone could go and learn about it. I know that food is a very popular way to get students into events as well as learn about different cultures. So I would ideally like to maybe cater different food from different places in Binghamton that are dedicated to certain ethnic or racial groups. And I think collaborating with, as I said before, smaller clubs and promoting their clubs as well would definitely give them a booster as well on campus.
All right. My next question is on accountability and reporting. The VPMA must present a report to the GSO Senate each semester. What indicators or outcomes will you use to evaluate whether your initiatives are making a meaningful impact on campus?
I would like to see the feedback in two ways. One, throughout the semester with the newsletters as well as the events and how many people engaged in the events and showed up and talked to us, how many emails we get throughout the semester and saying their concerns or what they like or what they don't like, as well as at the end of the semester, maybe a email sent out to the graduate student or people who go to our events, asking them to give feedback directly to us. And after that, for the spring semester, I would change or keep going the way the student body would like me to.
Yeah, for this, for accountability and for reporting for this, I would like to take feedbacks at the end of each event, and also I will give some feedback. I will take feedbacks from the students by the end of the semester. So by this, by taking feedback from the end of the every event, so that I can gather some information from in person, so that I can also note them everything, and which will be useful for me while submitting the report at the end of the semester. So this by taking their feedback, I will try to understand and I will try to improve the things by taking their feedbacks upon their ideas.
All right. So my last question is on vision for this role as candidates. If elected, what will be your top priority during your first semester as graduate vice president for multicultural affairs, and how will you implement it?
Yeah, if I elected as vice president for multicultural affairs, like I would like to arrange more events where I can gather a lot of people together, which helps many students for networking. And also, I will try to bring I will try to bring some cross program mentorships, and I will try to arrange few meetings or few cultural events where everyone get involved and participated. And I will try to arrange a lot of cultural events such that we can every student feel represented, and they feel like they are acting on this.
One of the most concerning problems on campus is funding to smaller organizations. So I would make that a priority in the beginning of the semester. I know that VPMA allocates funds to sub-organizations, and I would see if there could be a way to give them more funding so that they could do the events they want and the outreach that they want to do, as well as focus on collaborations with them and the assembly that will be formed, and hearing every voice on campus.
Right, candidate, thank you so much. So now we'll go to the floor. If you want to ask a question, put up your hand. I'll come to you. All right.
I have a two-part question. The first part, if you go through the CMA groups that we have in GSO, there are 6 to 7 groups and 3 active social culture groups. So how would you make sure that you add much more culture groups? Just like you mentioned, you're part of a Spanish group. So how could you add that group and other culture groups? And then how could you promote inclusive environment in SCMA so that all these cultural groups participate in each other's events? The second part of the question is, I hear a lot of event planning, but many graduate students are more academic focused. So do you have any strategy on how you could increase the engagement considering all the 6 schools we have? So
As you said, definitely as a graduate student, we will be busy, and we will not show much interest in participating every event. We'll only participate like when it will be more useful for us. So for that, I will try to implement cultural events such that where everyone can see their professional growth, such that I will try to build some cultural events where seniors and juniors can meet together. Then juniors can get a lot of insights from their seniors, and also I will try to speak with professors as well who worked on some sort of famous things, and I will try to bring them into the events. So from there, the graduate students can grasp a lot of knowledge from the lecturers, not only from their professors, but from different colleges as well.
From experience, I know that larger organizations are more hesitant to collaborate. So I will reach out to smaller ones that would love the visibility and that want to do a lot on campus for the assembly. And for your second question that I forgot, can you repeat it?
how would you increase the engagement?
Yes.
Considering all the 6 schools?
Yes, I would collaborate with more professional organizations. Like, as I said before, I'm part of the Association for Women in Math. We do a lot of collaborations with companies outside of Binghamton, like in the area, as well as reach out to professors to give speeches and lectures to the graduate student organization.
All right. Thank you. What's up?
Hi, thank you. So you were talking a lot about communication and all of that, but I want to ask more tangible part of it. So as VPMA, you will be responsible to chair the assembly committee, right? And one of the responsibilities is distribution the budget. And the question is more of a structural, because you will have a president, a different VP and VPMA. So there could be some sort of tension within the leadership organization about the distribution of the funds and all of that. So how are you going to address those potential tensions, and how can you make sure that the budget, like how can you work with the budget? Like, do you have any experience? And the second question is provocative. Why you a better candidate than another person?
I have experience working on large e-boards such as the Dickinson Town Council. We do have a very large budget that we do allocate to each subgroup in Dickinson. So I do know a lot about that and how a budget could be split up. We could initially give, well, there is like a communication between the e-board that like a conversation to be had about allocating the budget. There is no e-board member that's higher than the other in this conversation. So we would talk about it, and we could always give more if there is more. And there's always fundraising opportunities that I could help with the organization. For the second question, I served as the Vice President of Multicultural Affairs for Dickinson Town Council for 3 years. So,
for the first question, yeah, definitely funding will be most important role here for arranging multiculturals. So for this, initially, like with starting of the term, I will try to collaborate with the Vice President and President, and I will try to take insights on the funding, and I will plan everything for the whole semester or the whole year initially itself. So it will be like at last it will be not like clumsy or anything else. So it would be easy to access. And for the second question, why I was like a better candidate for the other person? So like definitely I feel like myself, I feel that I am more into the cultural events since my bachelor's. So I have not only in my back in India, here even here I have arranged some events in my home, and I have gathered some people from neighbors from different cultures. So like from these experience, I feel that okay, gathering many people can helps us in getting more network and also getting to know more.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you, for sharing your experiences. I think my question is connected a little bit with Prabhu's about engagement, but speaking more realistically about just the state of the world and the broader Binghamton community, I think a lot of students feel perhaps a bit of fear expressing their cultural identity, engaging in diverse events, just because of how that may bring backlash onto them. And so I'm curious about if you guys have thought about that, the safety aspect of it, and how to get students to feel safe and engaged, and whether that requires some broader university administration conversations.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, it is a great question. So some people may fear to give their to show their culturals, and they maybe feel shy. This will be happen mostly in the small group of people. So for this, what I will do is like I will try to connect with the small group of people, whereas like, and I will try to speak with them, and I will try to encourage them to participate more, and I will try to understand their problems, and if possible, I would like to solve their problems as well. And personally, I will talk with them, and I will take their insights and upon like what they are feeling, like insecurities or like shy, whatever it may be. I will try to take from them insights, and I will try to put all those things into an action.
I know with a lot of problems on campus, students feel so frustrated and just want to talk to someone. Regardless of my political beliefs, mine shouldn't overstep into other students. So my office will always be anonymous if they want to talk to me about their concerns. And I will guarantee that nothing gets out their name. If they do not wish to leave the office, it will always stay there with me confidentially, regardless of whatever political view they would like to share with me. And I'll always have an open door.
right.
All right, thank you very much for answering. I have two questions. I think one is related to our last question. You're running for the position of VPMA. What are some major multicultural issues on campus that you have identified? Now, the second question is related to time management. Most of the time when you get in, you're getting familiar with the job, with the role, and before you know, the fall semester is over. By the spring semester, this is March, they're preparing for a new election also. How do you manage your time for you to be able to do all that you've set your mind to do?
After this, we only have one question more. Then we now go to those online.
I will answer your second question first. With time management, I managed to, for the past 3 years, balance 3 different executive boards, as well as my academic life, because I set deadlines for myself and I know when is a manageable time to get things done. If I can't do something this week, I will know that I can't do it, and I won't try to squeeze it in there in my schedule for like a sloppy job. I will just postpone it to a more manageable time. For your first question, I know that politics and identity is a very big thing on campus, and I think a lot of it comes from misunderstanding each other. I think setting up a meeting ground with both sides of any political issue is and having them speak together, like upfront, about their concerns is the way to do it.
Can I know your first question? Can you please repeat your first question again, please?
So the question is, what are some multicultural challenges on campus have you identified?
So for multicultural challenges, like as I seen here, like since past 6 to 7 months, I haven't seen many multicultural events what's going on here. I don't know that like the reason may be funding or like lack of participation or lack of awareness. So for these and also something like a lot of small group people are not interested or not willing to participate in these type of multicultural activities. So I will try to focus upon those areas and for the second one, time management, right? So for everything, like for this position, time management plays a major role to show our work effectively, right? So by understanding everything my own self, like I will go and reach out my previous VPMA and I will try to understand everything from there. What is my roles and what is my responsibilities, what I can do, what I cannot do. And I will try to understand everything from him or her, and I will try to I'll try to do.
Our last question.
Thank you. Mariam, you talked about sending out newsletters if there are events, if there are festivals. I wanted to ask, and I think it happened this month, where there were multiple festivals and events that were happening. Which one would you prioritize in that situation? And which one would you then put out posts about, is my question. The other question that I have for both of you is, what is your motivation, or what motivated you to run for this position? I just want to understand why you're running for this position.
Yeah, for the second question, I would like to answer like, see, as a graduate students, as I previously mentioned, right? So we wanted to participate in multicultural events, but we don't want to waste our time. So as I seen here, like I am not able to see a lot of multiculturals for networking and all those things. So this motivates me a lot to participate in this position so that I can arrange a lot of networking sessions, cross programming mentorship sessions, and sessions, cultural activities with among all the all the diversities. So this will be helpful for each and every person to understand the different cultures, which will be helpful for in their future. See, basically, many international students are coming here to learn different type of cultures. where they can by this they can get a knowledge and they can get an idea of how different cultures are being there and how it is treated. Yeah. So my motivation is to like there is less less cultural events for networkings. So I wanted to increase cultural activities which increases the network.
To answer your first question, what I envisioned is that it would be a newsletter dedicated to a certain ethnicity or racial group, and with that, different events throughout the month that are already posted on Be Engaged would be tagged as like a list. So I wouldn't necessarily prioritize different events. I think a good chunk of the events should be there. But if I were to prioritize certain clubs on campus, it would be the lesser ones that don't have as much visibility as the larger ones. To answer your second one, I have seen personally what my student government has done for our community, and I would like to continue it. I've seen people be represented in the events I did for the last 3 years, and I would like to continue that and yes, bring people together.
Okay, I'll give last opportunity to
Thank you, Yakubu. So again, concrete question. So we talked about the funding, and right now the budgets were not used. So the GSO has extra funds. The idea is, I'm curious, what's your plan on using those funds? Because the budget for GSO during like for the year annually is $300,000. If I'm not mistaken. And there is around $700,000 in the reserve right now. Am I correct, M?
Clarify. GVPMA doesn't have.
I know, but of course, that's for there's a team, but
Yeah.
people also have these powers. So, in the upcoming year or this year, there will be a vote for student activity fees, right? And those money is actually what sponsors those fees. So in the past, there were a lot of issues where people were trying to overturn the payment of these fees. How do you feel? What can be your contribution, your role into promoting keeping this fee? Because it's basically where the budget comes from.
While serving on DTC, I actually promoted the activity fee to continue. I would explain to people like how it affects them, because people, if they're not involved in executive boards, they just see a fee on their list and be like, we could get rid of it. They don't really see the direct impact it has on different clubs. So I would do my best to explain that to people. Could you say your first question? Yes. There could always be more allocated to different clubs. I think limiting them to a certain number of clubs is very harmful, and that's why we have clubs of lesser power than the other ones, budget-wise. I know from personal experience on working with e-boards on smaller ones like the Spanish Club and AWM. So I would reach out to clubs and see if they do require more funding and if they would like to, and collaborate with them.
So for like activity fee, I feel like it is important to every person cannot feel like, as you said, that they may feel like, okay, I'm not participating in these things, like why I need to pay and all those stuff. So, but by those things, we can run a lot of cultural events and all those things. So it plays a major role. And regarding funding, can you repeat? So,
How will you allocate the rest of the especially
okay, like for funding, like personally, I will not take my own decisions. I will try to talk with my Senate members and all those people who has more knowledge and more experience on those things, and I will try to put those things into an action.
Can I ask a follow-up question on funding? I'm so sorry.
Please go ahead.
And I'm not sure if today's the right day to ask this question, or maybe tomorrow when the presidential candidate are meeting. GSO has a limit, like when you go for conferences and all of that. GSO only refunds 75%. This 75% or 85%. Now, I've been a member of GSO before, so I know we didn't do anything. But if we do have like $700,000 in reserve, right? And yet someone attends a conference, spends $300, and you only refund 75%. And every year you have money sitting in the bank. This money is supposed to support the student community. What do you think? Should the 75% be eliminated? And like, hey, if you've attended a conference and we validated that you attended the conference, why not just give them 100% of the money? Do you agree to that?
If yes, no. If yes, if it is yes, why? If it is no, why? Please, it's very important.
Money is definitely a challenge with college students, especially. So I would definitely advocate for 100% paid if we do have that funding.
We do have it now. We've ascertained that we do have the money.
Yes. Yes, and if it's going to a conference, it's benefiting their career. I don't see a reason against. Sorry, I don't see a reason against that, and why we would reserve that 25% if it's just going to sit there. There's no reason for that, and I definitely should think it should be 100%.
Actually, I'm not clear about your question.
So when you go for conferences, right? GSO has a money that when you attend conferences, you could ask for a refund of the money spent on, let's say, conference payment, your transportation, and all of that. But GSO has a policy that only refunds 75%. I'm not sure, either 75%. 60%. Oh, 60%. 60%. That's even lower. 60% minus taxes, minus fees. So if you bought an airplane, and the airplane is $500 and you pay fees of $200, GSO will ask you to remove the $200 for fees. So the $500, then you're entitled to 60% of 500. Can you see how much money is going out of this? And if we have so much money in the bank, why not just pay 100%?
Yeah, this makes sense. Correctly. Yeah, this makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with you. See, if we have a lot of funds, what is the point of keeping and storing them? Like if you give like 100% refunds or something like that, many people are encouraged to come and participate in the events and participate in the conference. So from there you can get different types of ideologies or something else like that. So I completely agree with your point. I would like.
Don't say for rainy days.
But maybe rainy days are coming, because students.
Dami, you are out now. Please go ahead.
So I just wanted to add in, the budget committee is looking at all those funds this year and possibly making changes to those funds. So the best way to get involved is to join the budget committee. I'm not sure if they're taking other members right now, but you can certainly reach out to our treasurer and see if the budget committee is taking members. I just realized I'm out of camera. And then the other thing is, even if you can't join the budget committee, you can certainly reach out to our treasurer and let her know, please, this is what the student body wants, and make that known to the budget committee. They're looking at all of this right now.
Thank you so much for coming in to clarify this. We have two questions online. The first question, is a general question for the candidates. Many student leaders experience burnout during the academic year. What steps will you take to support organization leaders while still maintaining expectations for accountability? So Nayamprat is the current VPMA, current VPMA. So I believe she knows what she's talking about. So
By student leader, would that be me or other organizations? I see. Okay, so I would definitely provide support. I've dealt with this. My executive board has dealt with this. But I will guarantee them that there will be a bounce back. It's just a hill to get over. So I could they will feel that I could help them with whatever work that they are struggling on, and I would say I'm a very personal person, so they will a lot of people feel free to ask me for help, and I'm more than happy to help them.
So for the first question, like, yeah, many students are during their many student organization leaders are like feeling like, okay, this is are stressed out or something else like that because of academic pressure and all those things. For them, I personally reach out them and I will try to address the problems what they are facing, and I will try to take to the GSO committee. And for the second question, especially asked for me regarding multicultural events. So as I have seen that, like after coming here, like for gathering all the colleges, we have arranged 2 or 3 events, I think so, but I'm not sure. This is like what I got to know, 2 or 3. Maybe it is like lack of awareness for everyone, every graduate student. So that is what I got to know. So that is why I told that there is less multicultural events. And for the second question, yeah, for net.
I think the other ones are just comment, because the second question was talking about, you mentioned that there were no multicultural events, but there have been many and have been periodically updated on the Engage. Haven't you been aware of those events? I mean, she's asking. And then also, my second question is that you mentioned networking, but for that, we have dedicated department that look into networking like Freshman Center and Alumni Center. Then why more networking? So I think that is her questions.
As I mentioned that, like many people are not aware of many cultural activities which she has mentioned. So in the being age, like I have seen initially, like welcome event is one of the big event, and after that there is one more event for dressing culture. These are the 2 events which I have seen, which got to know for everyone. And for the second one, see, networking is helpful for our professional growth. Networking, see, whenever it is networking, like everyone should have like a lot of networking. It is not only specified for the specific department or something like that. If you
Let me rephrase the question. So, what the BPMA is trying to say is that networking event or the professional development, you have placement center who have a specific job to push you forward for your career development. If you wanted to plan this event, you could also go and apply for assistant to the president. His main concern is about planning those events. If you're applying for a social BPMA position, your main focus should be about how to make sure that the social culture groups we have, you could uplift them and make them feel inclusive and promote them. And now that you're talking about events, do you have any specific strategy or give us a plan about how could we plan this event? For instance, how Irene speak about an international event and she has a plan in case. So could you name such events and we focus on those? Because networking is something which is more out of placement center, and they have been doing it over a year, and that's not your main focus, I can say.
Yeah.
It's very broad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's correct. Like I'm not only especially focused upon network. The only thing I wanted to convey is that, like, as I was arranging multicultural events, I wanted to bring networking into those things also as well. It is not especially only arranging events for only networking. It is not that I wanted to convey. I wanted to convey is that, like, for every multicultural events, we need to improve the networking in that as well. So this is what I wanted to convey.
Thank you. Please, let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. They have been able to answer all our questions. But those online, do you have any question again? If you have any question, unmute yourself and then ask your question. If not, we'll say thank you for joining us wherever you find yourself. And then VPMA candidates, thank you so much. You can have your seat. We are most grateful. So on this note, we are done for today's session. Tomorrow, we are going to have the president and vice presidential candidates, and it is going to start at 4 p.m. A newsletter will be sent out tomorrow morning to remind people to join us, whether via Zoom or in person. On behalf of the e-board, I would like to thank our judges for spending that much time to come and witness and then try to participate in this whole process. We are so grateful. Thank you so much. And to all participants, whether in person or online, we are so grateful. Thank you so much. See you guys tomorrow. It's at 4 p.m., the same place. Thank you. Bye-bye.